Hi, and welcome to this short tutorial about developing an outline for your research paper. I want to remind you that your outline should be in proper MLA format. That includes a heading, it includes page numbers up here at the top, and it also includes a working title. Please make sure that you do insert your thesis statement here, and you will begin your outline with an introduction. Your letter A should be some type of a statement that captivates your audience. Your B will include information that you plan to use to begin your paper, and when you actually begin writing, any specific facts that you cite, whether they're paraphrased or not, need to be cited with in-text citations. So if you are putting specific facts here in your outline, you do need to go ahead and provide that citation. Generalizations do not have to be cited. Just as a reminder about the rules, remember that if you have a 1, you have to have a 2. When you're writing, you will end your paragraph with your thesis statement, but it's really not necessary that you put your thesis statement here again. This paragraph right here, Roman numeral 2, is going to be the paragraph where you basically discuss the context of your argument that you are making in your paper. So letter A is going to be information that basically sets the stage for your topic. So what are the details of the problem in your field? What is the struggle or the complicated issue that you see as the researcher? You do want to make sure that you provide evidence, make sure that you cite it, and provide your own interpretation and commentary about that evidence. This should seem very familiar to you because it is the same format you've been following all along. What is the struggle or complicated issue? I'm sure that there are multiple parts to that. That's why there is another number here, 3. Again, evidence and interpretation. Number 4, you will begin to go a little bit more in depth about your thesis. You want to remind your reader about the argument, and you're going to be transitioning into your points there. Make sure that you are clear about where your paper is going. Please do not use announcement language. Do not say, my paper will discuss, or this paper will explain, or I'm going to show. You never do that. You just go right into whatever your statement is and state it. Own it. But don't announce it. Explain the why of your thesis and how your idea is going to solve the problem. So again, you're giving a little bit more of an in-depth overview of what you are writing about than you did in the introduction. The majority of Roman numeral 2 is going to be in your own words. So this is again where you're forecasting for all of us what it is that you are writing about. I'm noticing here too, as I'm doing this for you, that there is a mistake. You cannot have an A without having a B. So this number 4 here should be a letter B right here, which would change this little a, b, and c to a 1, 2, and 3. So that is an error. Please remember that you cannot have an A without having a B. All right, moving on. Roman numerals 3, 4, and 5 are all the main points of your thesis. You should have 3 main points that you plan to argue. These are your argument paragraphs. I'm only going to show you one of them, but you're going to make your first main point here in your thesis statement that you plan to argue, and letter A and letter B are going to be your claim statements. So what claim are you making as the writer in reference to that first main point? And then you will follow again the same structure you've been using all along in your other papers. Give the evidence. Please make sure you cite it. Provide your interpretation. You can give another piece of evidence and another piece of interpretation in reference to that claim statement. You have to have at least a 1 and a 2. You could have more. In the letter B, again, you're going to make a claim statement. Provide your evidence. Provide your interpretation. And again, make sure that you cite when you give your evidence. So Roman numerals 3, 4, and 5 are all your argument paragraphs. And I'll just, I've given you various ways to see, evidence interpretation, maybe not as much evidence with B, going back to different, more evidence and interpretation. You have to have at least a claim and evidence and interpretation, and if you end up with more evidence and interpretation, that's fine. You can repeat these steps if you have further points, or if it makes sense to break it into more ideas. Ideally, each letter will be its own paragraph. Notice I said ideally each letter will be its own paragraph. That's because you will have developed your claims enough to warrant that. Okay. Now the refute and concede paragraph, this is really important. This is where you bring in the opposing voice. So you are looking at the naysayers, the people who would argue against you. And so you are coming in and you're introducing the first point that they might make that you want to look at, and you're going to make a claim. What are they saying about it? Provide the evidence from their side. Make sure you cite it. And then you can actually talk about this now. You can acknowledge their side, but you can also refute it. You can say, that what they're saying is not indeed true, and point us back to why that is. Again, another claim about something that the opposite side says. Provide your evidence, provide your interpretation. B gives you an opportunity to go even further. So you're going to have several claims that are made against you as the writer, with the opportunity in the interpretation statements to refute that and explain why you disagree with the opposite side. And then lastly, you're going to have your conclusion. That will be your number 7. Review your main points. You can have a call to action. You can provide a solution. If you don't have one, you can at least encourage others to become aware of the issue and leave your reader with a lasting impression. What does the future look like in relation to your argument? Make sure you end with your words and not someone else's words. That's really important. Notice that this outline is extremely thorough. It is very long. It's 5 pages. Yours is going to be at least that long, likely longer once you insert your evidence. Having a good outline puts you in a very good position to write this paper. Please let me know what questions you might have, and good luck.